At Strong Industries, for over 30 years now, we've specialized in showing dump truck owners how to make money in the business like never before. Invest up front in their truck's equipment, and the sustained revenue increase results in a 100% return on that investment in less than a year, and pure profit thereafter, year after year, throughout the truck's life. But there's a huge mistake that we've seen way too many super dump buyers make. They've run the calculations for themselves, and they're all in, excited to buy a super dump. But then they shoot themselves in the foot by contradicting that principle of investing up front and elect to buy an old used truck with hundreds of thousands of miles on it to save up front on the initial purchase price and end up frustrated later, not realizing how much that seemingly sensible purchase of that used truck actually cost them. And we're not talking a marginal difference where they might have been better off buying a brand new truck instead. We're talking a huge difference where they'd be better off buying 2 brand new trucks and not even using one of them. Now, this isn't to say that all used trucks are bad. At Strong, we regularly sell used truck super dumps, and we know how good, low-mileage used trucks are just extremely rare. And when left with the only options being a brand new truck, which vary in price but run around $230,000, or a used one with around 400,000 miles at about half that price, too many super dump buyers don't ever even consider buying new. They figure by saving that kind of money up front, it just has to be the smart choice. Let's first clear up a couple of common misconceptions about used vocational trucks like this. While similar trucks may run for over 1 million miles over the road trucking, spending 90% of their lives highway cruising, you can't expect anywhere near that kind of longevity with a vocational truck like a dump truck. With multiple heavy payloads loaded and dumped each day, all of the stops and starts of city driving, the rough terrain at work sites, and so on, compared to an over-the-road truck, they experience 4 times the wear and tear. So that a vocational truck with 400,000 miles is more like an over-the-road truck with 1.6 million. Second, buying used vocational trucks, especially dump trucks, is not like buying used consumer cars, where you can reasonably expect to buy a decent one cheap, fix it as you go, and come out ahead in the end. With these trucks, from the availability of decent options, to depreciation and resale values, to the maintenance required and cost of repairs, it's a whole different ballgame. And most important of all, this truck is not just transportation to your work, it is your work. And not working during downtime is the biggest profit killer of all. Let's look at a truck's total lifespan, from showroom new to junkyard dead. Dump trucks average about 50,000 miles a year, so that would mean 250,000 miles after 5 years, 500,000 miles after 10, and at 15 years, although most trucks are dead long before then, would be 750,000 miles, at which point they're relatively worthless. Now these years, from new to 5, are the prime years of the truck, and for next to nothing you can get a factory warranty on the engine and transmission through 5 years or 300,000 miles. You can count on trouble-free usage with the protection of the warranty. And although the starting price may seem high, even after 5 years and 250,000 miles, it can easily be sold for $160,000. Then after this period, as you pass 300 to 400 to 500,000 miles, maintenance-related issues occur at an ever-increasing rate, and all the various wear parts on the truck start needing replacement. And at some point, the truck's death spiral begins. Various components throughout the truck start failing at an infuriating rate, some of them multiple times. And as the cost of repairs escalate, it becomes a constant battle keeping the truck on the road rather than in the shop. And this inevitability, being in the shop and not doing work, is a factor that's too often overlooked or downplayed, because once these trucks reach this stage, they'll typically accumulate a full month of downtime each year. If you're paid $5 per ton and your super dump hauls 25 tons, that's $125 a load in revenue. And since you can make 6 trips a day on a typical job, that's $750 you'd earn each day when you're working. Of course, you also have expenses when you're working, so let's subtract $175 for operation costs like fuel and mileage, and $200 for the driver for the day. That leaves $375 a day in profit. And when your truck breaks down for a total of 4 weeks over the course of a year, that's $7,500 in lost profit on top of the repair costs. So when you buy a truck at this point, with over 400,000 miles for $120,000, you'll be lucky if it lasts you 5 years. And over those 5 years, it'll cost you $37,500 in lost profit from downtime, plus repairs. An engine overhaul is practically guaranteed, and that alone will run about $25,000. And we'll say just $4,000 a year in repairs the other 4 years, for $78,500 total additional cost after purchase. So that in the end, you've actually paid $198,500. But let's say after it's dead you can sell it for $25,000. That drops the net cost to $173,500. And it's still a terrible deal. Because these trucks hold remarkable resale value all the way through 500,000 miles, at which point, amazingly, it can still easily be sold for $100,000. So you can buy a truck new at $230,000, enjoy the trouble-free prime years, run it for 10 full years, and then sell it for $100,000 for a net cost of only $130,000. We can even throw in $20,000 for interest on a loan to cover the difference in purchase price, and $20,000 in repairs and downtime toward the end. And the grand total is still only $170,000. And this is over 10 years for $17,000 per year. While this is over just 5 years for nearly $35,000 a year. Or to put it another way, you'd have to buy 2 of these old used trucks to last you 10 years, which would cost $347,000. Either way, you end up spending over twice as much as you would on a brand new truck. So Super Dump buyers, don't sacrifice profits just to save up front on an old, worn-out truck. It's a gamble that you're guaranteed to lose. And most likely you'll pay more than 2 brand new trucks, but never even own one. Check out our online inventory or give us a call. We usually have a few great low-mileage used trucks available, as well as brand new. And we always have direct paths with every major truck manufacturer to get you set up in any new truck quickly and easily.